Get the phone, will you, Tara?
Hello? Who? Century Collections? No, he's working late tonight. Uh-huh. Mom's on, too. I'm babysitting. Uh-huh. $400? No, I don't know anything about it. You'll have to ask my dad. Look, why don't you ask him yourself? Well, why don't you talk to him about it? I don't know anything about it. I don't know. Look, why don't you just wait and call back? He's not here. No. Call back.
Look at what we've done. What a price we pay. With the ones we love, we're fighting. Troubled children, now they're lying. It's the same old story. If I could start all over again, I would never let it. I could never let it go this far again.
Look, I told you not... Sue. I don't know, doing homework.
Ralph Becker works hard. He's a carpenter, a husband, and a father. For all this, his rewards are a lovely wife, 2 bright teenage girls, and $17,000 a year, figuring on a normal amount of overtime. Ralph owes a lot of money, not to thugs or loan sharks, but to a couple of banks, a few small loan companies, a handful of charge accounts.
Doing homework. Mm-hmm. Really? I don't know. Maybe.
Boy, you
What?
are really something.
Really?
What is that supposed to mean, I'm really something?
I
Nothing's
can't look
wrong.
my own daughter in the eye.
Oh, no.
Because I didn't
Must
answer
be
the phone.
something
Is that
else.
what you're talking about?
It wouldn't hurt you to get up off
You were
the sofa
standing 2
for
feet
5
away from
Nothing.
the phone. You could have answered it.
Uh-huh. Oh, I don't know. I think there's working outside or something. I don't know.
I'm going to move you
Uh-huh.
in the garage.
I don't know. Did you get that one problem in math?
Ralph loves the outdoors. The boat and motor cost him almost $3,500 with interest charges. He's going to be 3 months behind in payments by next week. The snowmobile was $1,200. No, more like $1,600. Low monthly payments are costing him more money. The car? Well, a year ago he thought he could afford it. Even then he was wrong. Ralph is in over his head, and it's tearing him up inside. In all, he owes more than $9,000, and his pay is down to $15,000 because his overtime was cut to 0 6 months ago. Jim Hoberman should know better. He makes more than $16,000 as an accountant, but he's very good at not bringing his work or his skills home with him. He owes over $6,500, but he doesn't know it. Neither does he know that he spends over $100 a month on babysitters. Yesterday, Jim explored the idea of getting a consolidation loan to cut his monthly payments. The loan will end up increasing his debt by $400, and it will give him the illusion that his finances are once again in order. Jim and Carol have been married for 5 years. Instead of a dowry, each brought old debts to the marriage.
Some cash.
No. Look, tonight we can charge it. That loan's going to come through next week. No problem.
I think you're going to like this. It's a new cake mix. Chocolate with...
Harry Singer is a factory foreman. His 3 grown children now have lives of their own, and it seemed to Harry that with the expense of rearing children behind, he should be able to afford more luxuries.
That could be. Hello? Johnny? It's Johnny.
The trouble is, all of Harry's expenses have increased with inflation, and he has some new ones, like long-distance calls. His current debt of $5,200 drains off most of his monthly salary.
Yeah, well, your dad and I were just sitting here watching television. Do you want to talk to him?
Oh, okay.
He is proud of his thrift program, though, for no good reason. He puts a small amount each month in savings bonds at 6% interest, then finances things like his latest luxury, the color TV, at 18%. How do families like these create such financial problems?
It's going to help your arm wrestling, I'll tell you that.
Part of the problem is the delusion that paying with a small square of plastic isn't the same as spending real money. A good credit rating makes it possible to collect a staggering number of credit cards, enough to provide delusions of grandeur. You see, when most of us charge, we forget that two signatures are needed, one to authorize the credit and the one that hurts, the one that pays the bill. And it may hurt more because of interest charges for late payment. The secret to using credit cards wisely is to charge no more than you can pay in full at the end of each month. Paying before the due date usually eliminates finance charges and gives you essentially free use of the credit card's one big advantage: convenience.
Oh, I can't believe it. Just because we're a few days late, look what they tack on. Finance charge. Why do they do that? Don't they understand that sometimes we just...
How late are we on this?
Only a couple days.
Why don't you pay it right away?
Because I don't have any money here. You're the accountant. You have all the money for
What, I have it stashed away in the office? Come on, honey.
Paying after the due date, or less than the full amount, costs you extra money and adds to your debt.
I need them.
Third notice.
Oh,
Didn't you
no.
pay this one?
No, I didn't pay this. I've never seen this. I never saw
The large balance Jim carries in each of his 7 credit card accounts is like carrying 7 floating loans. Every month he pays interest on each for the privilege of being in debt. And he pays interest on the balance owed in his bounce-proof checking account, too.
Hi, honey. Here's the mail. We've got to pay these bills.
Why can't you take care of this stuff? I mean, I work with this stuff all day long. I work with other people's money.
It's not just my responsibility.
Well, you're home all day. I'm at work all day.
I'm taking care of the kids all day.
Maybe you could get a job.
Well, if you wanted me to have a job, why didn't you say so earlier? We wouldn't have spent so much money. Maybe then we could get it together.
Honey, you know, I've always wanted you to work. I want you to be happy, too. You know I don't make that much money, and I see bills here for things that we don't need. I mean, look around you. There are things here that we don't need.
They're things for the house.
So what? What's the
For
house,
us.
sacred? Oh, come on. It would be the same house without all that.
And for Christopher? You said let's have a family, and then you won't work.
Oh, come on. I work. I work 8 hours a day. Can't you see that? Can't you understand that? I come home, I get this. I work all day long, and this is what I get. All you have to do is go out and find something else to do. I mean, a lot of other women keep kids at home and they go out to work. There's a way to do it. We'd have the money to charge all these things. Oh, don't cry. Baby, come on.
Ralph,
Give me a beer, will you, hon?
we don't have any beer. Can't afford beer.
Well, what do you mean we can't afford beer? I mean, don't I rate a beer anymore? I mean, beer is a food, isn't it? You buy food. No, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I take that back. Tuna casserole 3 times a week is not food.
All right, I didn't buy any beer.
Jinsey, what did you buy? What do we have, huh?
You really want to know?
Yeah, I really do.
Okay. We have a hot water heater that is burned up, or whatever it is that hot water heaters do. We have a car that needs to be tuned up. We have a basement that leaks
Look,
to
as
death.
soon as I get a few bucks ahead,
Look,
you will
are
not...
you kidding me? Look, you're making less money than you made 3 years ago. So you come out here to your little toy shop, and you fantasize about how you're Commodore of the Yacht Club. No way to live. Look, I am sick of worrying about the bills. I'm through. The girls are out. Why don't you answer it?
A major cause of family conflicts, a growing cause, is financial strain. Few things seem so capable of dividing a family and building such vivid hostilities. Ralph lost part of his income, true, but he was in trouble long before that.
Hello. Bob, how are you? Huh? Bowling? Tonight? Why not?
yourself out.
Just mark down the X right now.
Right down.
Okay, we'll wait.
Let's see what it is here. There you go.
I'm buying.
Okay, I'm buying.
I told you, I don't put the X in there, Bob. Put it in.
Well, one good thing about losing is winter buys, right, Ralph?
Talk about it.
Ralph used a lot more of his available credit than he should have. For a home improvement loan, a loan for the boat, dealership financing for the snowmobile, and more. Ralph saved $300 on his new car, then blew it by spending $600 too much on credit. A small loan company charged him twice the interest a bank would have charged, and his down payment was also a loan from another finance company.
Yeah, big winner here. Promise the guys a drink here. Want to get going to get your slips out there, George, buddy boy.
Sorry, Ralph. You know, it's been some time.
Come on, Ralph. Let me. Hey, put that away. What are you talking about here? Hey, George, look. Hey, what cards you got? You got any of the cards I got here, huh? Look. I don't know. These cards. Put that away. You got any? What do you got?
Harry Singer isn't much of a credit shopper either. Not only does he overuse his credit, he still hasn't learned that money is not borrowed, that the use of it is purchased, that there's a big difference in the purchase price of money these days. A loan from Harry's credit union might have been had for as little as 9% interest. The same loan from a finance company could cost up to 36%. Even among banks, interest charges can vary.
They had a special on tomato soup today. It really was a good buy.
In today's financial crunch, shopping for the best price on credit is as important as it is in food shopping, maybe more so. But even the cheapest loan in town can be the wrong choice if that loan puts you over your debt limit. How can you tell if the thin ice you're walking on is turning into hot water? If you throw your bills in the air and pay those that land first, you're probably in trouble. And you're building more debt through late charges and penalties.
We've gone over your application very carefully, Mr. Hogan, and I see no reason why we can't consolidate these 4 smaller debts into one loan.
Well, now, what will be
If you have to borrow to pay for previous borrowing, you may be in over your head. Find out why you can't honor your commitments as originally made.
That's indeed a problem also.
Yeah.
Another danger signal is the desire to cut up your charge cards. This usually indicates that they have been controlling you, and if they have, it will take more than destroying them to regain control. Are you dipping into your reserves to pay for current expenses? Emergencies are one thing, but ordinary bills should be covered by your regular income, unless you're in too deep.
Okay, thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
Look, I know you're upset. I've been out bowling, all right? I mean, a guy's got a right to do something once in a while, hasn't he?
Why should I be upset? What do I care what you do with our money?
Frequent arguments over money should make the financial issue obvious to you. Something is wrong, and it's probably the size of your debt.
All right, how much of our money did you spend?
Jim Hoberman. Hi, Carol.
Danger signal number 6. You rely on extra income to make ends meet.
That's a relief. I'd sure hate to miss the first payment on that loan. Yeah.
None of these red flags alone is a sign of impending doom, but they are signals to stop and reevaluate your situation should any of them sound familiar. Don't wait for several of them before you take action.
Well, it was the right decision.
Ralph took action. He was forced to investigate bankruptcy. His lawyer told him of a special provision called the Wage Earner Plan under Chapter 13 of the Bankruptcy Act. It will allow the Beckers to avoid total bankruptcy and pay off creditors under court supervision. Legal action is the last resort, But in this case, the Beckers will be protected against hounding by creditors. Harry Singer was given some financial guidance by his union. If he follows the advice and exercises some old-fashioned self-discipline, he can greatly improve his situation. And if his memory is good, he can avoid getting into such difficulty again. The Hobermans were referred to a non-profit credit counseling organization. The advice they got is sound, practical guidance for a less destructive way of managing money. It can be used by anyone, regardless of the size of debt.
What are your monthly expenditures?
Well, I'd say about 800.
I think they're probably closer to 850.
Really? Most couples underestimate their annual expenditures by, well, as much as $1,000.
Wow.
You know, a lot of us can't even account for the $10 bill we had yesterday. So the first thing you have to do is to know what you spend.
If you don't like the idea of budgeting, at least keep track of your expenses. It may be a bit of a shock when you look at them, but you can't successfully manage your money without this very minimal effort. The second thing is know what you earn. Forget your gross salary. What's your take-home pay? And don't count overtime, bonuses, tax refunds, or other such things as regular income. They're not regular, and they can stop anytime.
I don't believe in giving a lot of do's and don'ts, but I'm going to break my own rule and leave you with one more point. Don't use more credit than you can afford. Now, by that I mean try not to borrow more than 15 or 20% of your annual income, excluding your mortgage payments. Debt can often become acute when it starts to approach 1/4 of your annual income.
Well, the way we have it,
And before you use credit, learn how to purchase credit. Most people are only concerned about how much the monthly payment is going to be. Find out what the interest charge is and what the loan is costing you in dollars. By law, this information must be clearly shown. The APR, annual percentage rate, is a good figure to use when comparison shopping. And compare the total finance charge, too. This is listed in dollars. It tells you exactly how much you are paying, in money, for that particular loan. Then, please establish some kind of family goal. You can't expect yourselves to stop your spending spree unless you have something fun to look forward to. Set a goal and plan for it.
We can actually afford a trip.
Save for it. Just one more thing. If it's at all possible, limit the number of creditors to 3. Choose a bank, a department store, and a general charge card. The number of credit cards in your pocket can add to the problem. Card holders buy more than users of cash. There is no debtor's prison today, except for the one each debtor builds for himself. There is a way out of debt, and more important, a way to avoid too much. Common sense and good financial management can help you, can help anyone avoid owing more than a rational debt.
Yeah, I think I hear the phone.
Honey, wait a minute. I'll get it.
Look at what we've done, sacrificed and made some changes with the ones we love. There'll be no more hiding faces, carelessly I took a ride. It seems you learn after you tried, now there's nothing left to hide.